What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our live show, Agent Outreach Live. My name is Ryan Zolin. I am super fortunate to have Landree here as my co-host. We are on a mission here to show you guys basically why agent outreach is the best strategy out there. A lot of times in real estate investing, what you find on social media is everybody has the bias, right? My strategy is the best because this is the best outcome because of that. You have all these different scenarios and hypotheticals, and what it is, it's bias. Let's just call it what it is. The reason that I think agent outreach is the best place to start is because it doesn't break the bank. At the end of the day, what a lot of people don't talk about in real estate, especially in the investment side, is the difficulties of finding that first deal, the difficulties of scaling your business, the difficulties of what it takes to actually be a business owner, right? A lot of this stuff at the end of the day comes from repetition, it comes from time. And again, we don't talk about is that if it takes time, but you don't have time, where does that gap get filled? So the reason that most people don't have time, well, it's because it takes money to make money, right? That's what a lot of times we hear in business. I agree, but I don't. In this strategy, you really don't need money. In wholesale specific, there's a lot of different strategies. There's direct to seller. There is working on market MLS deals. There is agent outreach. There's JV deals. Now you start going into the next layer, which starts to become creative finance, fix and flip, buy and hold. Buy and hold breaks into a few, long-term versus short-term. Then we start talking private lending. Then we start talking development. Let's slow down. How do we understand wholesale? Wholesale is the best place to get started. Well, when we start talking about the time that it could take to get your first deal, possibly being 6 to 12 months, that's a very long time. That's half a year. That's a year long. Do you have that amount of reserves saved up to getting your first deal? Most people won't answer that truthfully and say, no, I don't. And what it comes down to is basically staying in business. We always hear the number one rule of small business is to stay in business. Well, let's actually do that. So that's my bias. That's my first little spiel as to why agent outreach is the best place to get started. But our whole goal is really to make you guys aware as to how you could do this strategy too. You can do any strategy within wholesale remote for that matter. It's just a matter of if you understand that it could take a lot of money to go and actually do whatever strategy it is that you're trying to accomplish. So working on market deals, working with agents, it's going to take time regardless. But our goal is for you to understand that obviously you could do this too, and it doesn't actually break the bank to do this strategy. So Landree, how are you doing today? I know you
I'm
cracked
great.
sparkling water, but
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I Spindrift. It's the best. I
we
drink
were
way
starting up
too
the
many of
show
these.
and Landry's like cracking that thing open. I'm like, is that a beer? Are we partying on Agent Outreach Live Labor Day carrying on to two? Let's do it.
Anyway,
I love it.
yeah,
I love
doing
it.
good. I'm happy to be on the show.
This week we're back in action. We've got a couple different markets for you guys to pick from. Landry, I think we narrowed it down to 2 markets, was it?
Yes, we narrowed it down and it's in your guys' hands to decide which one that Ryan's going to call off of today,
Do it.
either in Kansas City or Memphis.
Let's do Memphis. Let's go rock
Okay,
and roll
I'm
Memphis.
feeling Memphis. Perfect.
Bring me to Tennessee.
All
Let's do
right.
this.
I'm going to show people real quick, just so you guys have an idea. If any of you guys are new and you're like, okay, you're just pulling a list of agents, like what's that about? All we're doing here is going into Batch Leads, and you guys can try it out too. Just go to batchleads.io/Zolin. You guys can check it out. 7 days, give it a try. If you guys get into the Batch community, and I'll make sure you guys have the link for that later today too. You can message me in there and I will show you anything you want within the system and make sure you have a good feel and feel confident with it, because there is a lot you can do in here. But basically what I did for the list is I went into agent outreach. I went into my filters. So you guys will jump in here and that's it. That's all I did to pull today's list. And then it pulls it up like this. And then we go through it. And one other thing with it is that if you are not wanting to save too many agents, you get all of their info, their phone number, direct phone number, everything. You don't need to skip trace anybody. You don't need to save them to get their info. You could even just really just heart the people that you're like, cool, I talked to Nick. That was a good conversation. Save it to your account. And then instead of having like these big lists. So find a way that works for you, but you can keep it all in one system and not have to have a headache. So anyway, let's call some agents.
Hear that all good?
Mm-hmm.
There's money to make today, Stephanie. I don't care if it's dinner time.
Keller Williams is speaking.
Hi, I was looking for Miles. I'm not sure if I got the wrong number. You said this was Keller Williams?
Yeah, this is the office number. Would you like a sale?
Honestly, if it's easier for you, I think I was just given the brokerage number by someone that was just trying to refer me to a realtor. Would you be able to transfer me to somebody that's possibly in office right now?
Okay, is it Mississippi or Tennessee?
Tennessee.
And you're wanting to buy or sell?
I'm looking to buy. I'm trying to find an agent out there.
Okay, let me see who I've got in the office. Hold on just a second.
Cool. I love doing that. Like, that's like my favorite thing. If they're there at 5:30, sorry, Miles. You're lost, bro.
Sorry, I don't have an agent in the office right now.
No worries. I know it's dinner
Transfer
time.
you to Miles?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'll transfer you to Miles.
Thanks. Miles, you got a second chance, buddy. But typically what I want to do is I want somebody that's in the office currently. Granted, I'm being mindful it's 5:30 there, so it is dinner time. Most people are out for the day. What I want to find is somebody that is going to be willing to answer the phone, somebody that's hungrier than the next realtor assigned to them. We're looking for off market. I'm looking for on market. I'm looking for them to go into the office the next day with a billboard on their head that says, I'm looking for deals ASAP, and it's for their client that's me.
Please leave your message.
I don't leave voicemails in this case because there's a million other realtors and I could find one that's going to answer the phone. Again, being extremely mindful that we are 5:30 p.m. dinner time. Some people aren't going to answer their phone, but do you know what happens when you don't and you're a realtor and this is your entire livelihood? You miss opportunities. It's not a bad thing. It's not me trying to be like, ah, ha, ha, I got Miles. I just don't care enough. I have to find people that are going to answer their phone, that are going to work for me, that the minute I have opportunity, and they do too, the correspondence back and forth is relatively quick. So we're going the next one. We might have to go OKC, honestly.
I know, yeah.
Oksana speaking.
Hi, Oksana. Nice to meet you. My name is Ryan. I'm trying to find an agent out in the Memphis market. I'm not sure if I have the right number.
You do. How can I help?
I'm trying to buy a property. I'm sure you get a lot of these calls from investors, but I'm based in Arizona. I'm transferring a part of my business out into another market, Memphis being one of them. And we've got all the pieces in place, got contractors, got our hard money lender, got everything that we need. The only thing missing is a realtor. So we're trying to find somebody that could help us with acquiring some properties.
Sure, I can help. Do you have any kind of referral-based program, or how does it work?
Yeah, so we are licensed in Arizona, but what we typically want to do in like our markets that we're buying in virtually is just having that realtor we work with represent us. So that way you can get the commission on it. And then if it's possible, we do have other partners and stuff that we work with, but we can usually put a pretty good word in for you guys listing it on the back end as well.
Okay, sounds good.
So to be completely honest, the reason I'm trying to find a realtor is because I don't really know the market all that well. So I'm very aware that obviously everything out there right now in the country is pretty competitive, but what we're looking for is just something that we can make some money on. We have some rentals, so I'm not opposed to buying something and keeping it, but more often than not, we want to fix and flip, just turn and burn, quick, get into the property, renovate it, and then turn around and sell it.
Okay. That sounds good. And can you give me a little bit more details as far as the criteria?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not really too comfortable in the space of like burned properties, like fire damage, nothing tear down or full gut, but typically cosmetic. So anything like carpet, paints, redoing some cabinets, redoing some crown molding if needed, like anything along those lines, that's typically our comfort level because we can work a little bit faster.
What about electrical and plumbing? If the utilities haven't been on
for sure.
over a year,
so
you'll need to pull permits and all that.
I'm not opposed to that. I think that's where I would really want to lean into your expertise. Like if you were to come to me and say, Ryan, I think this is a really good opportunity, I will trust your instinct on that because you know the market better than I do. As long as the numbers make sense is I feel like the right answer to say. So as long as they make sense and we could,
yes, of course.
then we're good.
What is the profit margin as far as net are you looking at?
So like, I guess a good like rule of thumb for us is typically like 10% of like whatever we could sell it at. So if it's worth 400,000, like typically around 40K, nothing less than like 25-ish is kind of our minimum. So like 25,000 minimum profit, but more often than not, 10% of whatever I could sell it at.
Got it. Let me give you my email address.
And thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you're super busy, but I don't want to waste your time. So anything you come across, we're ready to pull the trigger ASAP.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Good. I'll save your contact in the buyer list.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, first off, we lost Landree. She texted me and said they're having a bad storm. So that's also part of the reason why we're not getting some realtors answering the phone. It's all good. It's the name of the game. As you could see, that conversation was beautiful. It was a great flow, great ease. Some of the things I want to point out. Did you notice that I didn't use the verbiage of like ARV? I didn't talk about wholesale. I didn't go in there. She did catch on. She's like, well, do you guys do like a referral program? Because she didn't know if I was the investor or if I had an investor. That's what she was asking. But not mentioning ARV was one of my key things. I told her whatever I could sell it for, typically 10%. So when I used a $400,000 reference point for what we could sell it for. When I said 10% of ARV, well, I said 10% of what I could sell it for. 40K is a pretty good average as to what most people want to make on a flip. Great question, Ken. And I really want to reference this because this is kind of the point I was leading into. If it's that easy, why don't more investors do this? Well, a lot of investors do. And a lot of people are catching on to this and they're making this their primary focus. Where I think a lot of people I don't know if it's like just the way it's portrayed or what, they don't do well with this is because it's imposter syndrome. You're trying to go in there and say, well, Ryan, I've never flipped a house or own rentals. I can't do that. So don't say you did. We're not trying to go out there and lie. I'm not telling you to go fake it till you make it. Go in there and tell a story. The thing I want you guys to take away from that phone call was that if you could go back and watch that replay, I matched the tonality. I was straight to the point and I didn't waste her time. But then the way that I said things was comprehensible for a realtor. I didn't go in again mentioning ARV. I didn't talk about cost of renovations. She had some very high level questions asking about electrical and plumbing. She was asking about some major ticket items. Those are great. I told her what I think the right answer is that if the numbers make sense, the numbers make sense. These conversations, in my opinion, are quite frankly, the easiest conversation you'll have in this industry. The reason being is that you understand the gap being bridged between agents and investors. The hardest part of being a realtor is to find a client, while the hardest part of being an investor is to find a deal. Agents find deals, investors buy them, work together. So that's what this is. It is a phenomenal strategy. That costed me nothing more than 10 minutes. 2 phone calls, 3 phone calls. Let's keep going.
So to touch on that, because that's a great point, and there was a recent question about just in general following up and everything. So if somebody's looking for a flow or to get started with kind of a step-by-step type deal, give them a call. If they do follow through, then go from there. If they don't, would you try to reach back
follow
out
up with them afterwards? Absolutely.
Okay, so even if they're like, I'm going to send you something, a day passes, they haven't sent anything over, just follow up, make sure, that they remember it and everything.
And I prioritize people that bring potential, even if it isn't a deal, more than I value the people that, if this case right here, I have her email. I don't want to shit on her game because it was good. She played it good. But you never give the client your email. You ask the client for their email so that you could follow up with them. You set the expectation of when you're supposed to follow up with me. What's my availability? You work for the client. Not to be some entitled little snob dude that sounds like, oh, you're my realtor. But I'm just trying to be transparent with you guys. What I want her to do a little bit better is just close. And what we're trying to do a little bit better is efficiency. I'm not trying to waste my time talking to a million realtors and showing everybody that, this is all fine and dandy. I want to show you guys results. My favorite thing is when we get inside of our Discord and everyone's like, how's the week? And I'm like, we got this check, we got this check, we got this check. That's fun. That's the fun stuff of talking about we're actually performing and doing what we say, rather than just sitting around, smiling and waving.
Okay, great. Well, let's hope we get another good conversation.
We are calling Andrew.
You reached the voicemail of Andrew Akins.
Andrew.
Dang.
Calling Jonathan. I feel good about this one. Again, we just got the list from Batch. Landree exported it. Unfortunately, to follow YouTube's guidelines, we cannot give you guys the information publicly. YouTube will slap us on the wrist and take down our video. So if you guys are looking for a little bit more behind the scenes, stay tuned. We are going to have some upcoming webinars where we will be able to show you guys the full in and out of Batch and the software. And then obviously too, if you guys are in our Discord, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to hop in there and show you guys what we do to export lists. Who am I calling?
I think Elizabeth, unless you've already called Jonathan.
Hello?
Hi, is this Elizabeth?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Elizabeth. My name is Ryan. I'm trying to find an agent in Memphis. I don't know if I have the right number.
Yeah, I'm an agent in Memphis.
Okay, cool. So the reason I'm trying to find an agent is that I'm trying to purchase a property. I'm not sure if you get a lot of calls and texts from investors. Trying to be a little bit different. We are based in Arizona, but we're expanding out into the Memphis market. The only thing that I'm missing right now is a realtor. So we have contractors set up. We have a few other buyers we're working with too. We don't have an agent that could kind of help me get more familiar with the area and then with finding opportunities. So I'm not sure if that's something you could help us out with.
Yeah, I cannot. I'm sorry. It's not the way I work.
Gotcha.
Thank you for calling me, though.
If you don't mind me asking, do you have somebody that you would refer us to, or what is it that you do specifically?
No, I do not.
Gotcha.
It's good for people to see that, though, as well, because you're always having such awesome conversations.
It's good to be hung up on. And it sounds crazy because people are like, oh my gosh, realtors is so easy. Yeah, I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's easy to have a good conversation with a realtor. Every now and then you find a bad apple. And What I was going to say at the end there, which it's probably better that she hung up, was that in this business, when you are a real estate agent, I wasn't aware that you knew everybody in the world that you work with. Like, there's no such thing as a client that you've never met before that you qualify out as a realtor. Most realtors, you get a buyer broker agreement signed that commits them to working with you. You can make sure they have a proof of funds so they're qualified. You could ask to see any past deals to verify that they're not spam.
Yeah.
This is Randall.
Hey, Randall. My name is Ryan. I'm trying to find an agent out in Memphis. I don't know if I got the right number or not.
Yeah, well, I'm an agent that's here. I mainly do investment. Well, that's pretty much all I do. I'm assuming you're looking for investment stuff.
Dude, this is the best call so far. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Well, I'll just keep it like short and sweet. I'm sure your time's valuable. I am an investor. I'm based in Arizona. I'm sure you could tell from my cell number, but we've expanded recently into some other markets. So Memphis is one of them. I've got all of the pieces on the table that I need: a hard money lender, contractor. We even have a couple other people we're working with on like JVs with stuff. But the only piece I'm missing is a realtor. So with not being local, I kind of need some help with like eyes and ears on the ground and some opportunities. But then from there, I'm the easiest person to work with, I hope.
Okay. So I hear JV, and I assume are you a wholesaler, or are you looking to purchase things for yourself?
Yes, that's the short answer. I flip, I have rentals, I have a whole portfolio of properties that I could send you based on what we've done in Arizona and in Florida. But what we're trying to do in Memphis is kind of a mix. I'm looking to buy and hold some properties as rentals as long as the cap rate makes sense. And then with fix and flip, we really just want to turn and burn. I'm not really looking to do anything like full on gut job or fire burn properties. I don't mind if it's a little bit of a bigger remodel, but our comfort level is just get in, get out. So carpet, paint, cabinets, anything really cosmetic.
Sure. Yeah, I don't send out any. At least if I know if there's
Randall is my freaking
damage,
guy.
If it's a gut, a flood, a burnout, something like that, I usually don't send it out to anybody. Because most people aren't even prepared for that. You know, they think they might be, and then they get into one.
And I've done it before where,
you pull them into it.
Exactly. And I've jumped into a couple big ones too. And what I found is that juice is sometimes worth the squeeze, but I don't like my odds in this current market. So if I can be in and out of the property 45 days or less, that's kind of our goal at this point.
With the rehab costs where they are now. Yeah,
for sure. And also just to circle back really fast too, the wholesale side, I don't know. I feel like it's got a bad rep and I understand why, but we do and we don't. I'm always very transparent. So if I were to ever go in with my intention to be a wholesale, I would just try to make my offer a little bit nicer by giving non-refundable earnest money, and I could like fully commit to the deal that you would feel comfortable with working with us. But I would also tell you that we had somebody lined up that would make sense for a wholesale fee. The way that I just try to do business is to be transparent. I don't think that the jumping around the conversation or trying to hide things is the way of doing business.
Sure, and I'll just tell you, on my listings, I advise every single one of my clients to never take a wholesale offer.
For sure.
Because it contradicts my fiduciary job to them.
That's fair.
If the wholesaler is interested, that inherently means they're not getting as much as they could for the property, just
sure.
by design.
Sure. And I get that. I think that if they were to accept the number that makes sense, the thing that we'd want to do always just to make sure, and given like what I just said, it would be to make sure that they feel comfortable knowing that whatever price that we agreed on was a number that I'm committed to regardless. So not having a wholesaler or another wholesaler, I should say, or my buyer lined up, I would be going into that deal to take it down myself. And then from there, we would just figure out what the best exit strategy would be. So,
okay, sure. I mean, I don't have any issue with what I'm hearing from
cool.
you. The only problem is I don't really like helping wholesalers buy properties that are on the MLS or something like that. So if you want to purchase a property for yourself, either from the off market or the MLS, I can help you there.
Okay.
I'm not really
no difference if you
wholesale.
wholesale
A bunch of offers in on MLS properties that are going to be wholesale offers.
Yep.
I can, but I'm going to get in trouble for that at some point.
Sure.
That's why I don't like doing it.
That makes sense to me. I appreciate the transparency. At the end of the day, what we'll do is we could just work together on off-market stuff that we plan on purchasing ourselves. And then anything on market, if you come across an opportunity, I think at that point it would make sense just to send it over and get our opinion on it. If you need us to sign like any like documentation or anything that employs us working together, we have no issue with that, as long as it's just for like the deals that obviously we work on together. I don't know if it's too much to ask, but is it possible that when you get those properties, you could text them over to me? That's probably the best form of communication for me.
I can try texting.
Perfect. I'll send you over a text of my information, and I really appreciate your time today and all the info. I will make sure that we are super respectful of your time. And then if there's anything that pops up, just feel free to keep me in mind.
Sure, no problem.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Randall.
Yeah, thank you. Nice talking with you.
I usually don't recommend keeping the conversation that long. I feel like because transparency, but also I wanted that one to be really instructional and educational for you guys. The instructional piece. Notice how I try to take control there. I'm like, hey, is it too much to ask for you to text me? I'm getting a feel for what his style is. Well, oh no, I just pick up the phone and I call or I send an email. Perfect. If you didn't write that down and make a note, that was something that I made a note of. He wants to communicate through email like a true realtor. Obviously, he said he works with investors and he specializes with that. I was able to go in and even make a comment about, okay, well, why don't we JV deals with your buyers? Oh, it gets scary. Okay, no, you're good. I'll pay you a commission if that's what we're going to call it. We have a good time with these calls, and it's to show you guys that they're not all big, bad, scary wolves. You know, I mean, a lot of them are teddy bears. A lot of them are scared. You want to talk about some real stuff again to end the show? The market is tough. Where the writing on the wall is currently is not promising for being a realtor or an investor if you are a one-trick pony. You are just a real estate agent. Doesn't matter if you're working with buyers or sellers. If you are just a real estate agent, if you are just a commercial real estate agent, if you are just a fix and flipper, if you are just a lender, if you are just an investor, times are going to get tough. You got to think outside the box. You have to be willing to do what is in the best interest of the people you are serving. Where I really respect Randall and I appreciate what he says, the fiduciary line gets blurred if you don't know how to play the game. And the game is not unethical. The game is actually what's in the best interest of the person you are serving. The fiduciary is to his seller. But if the seller accepts a price that they deem fair and it's a deal price that makes sense for us as an investor, congratulations, Randall. You just got paid a full dual agency commission representing both sides for doing the easiest deal you'll ever do in your life. Reminder, traditional real estate agents are used to 30-day close, contingencies, inspections. I hope my client doesn't buy a car in the middle of the transaction. They've all these things stacked against them to where the investor comes in cash as is. I don't like saying quick close, but whatever close date the seller's comfortable with, not being 6+ months, we can justify it. We can make this make sense for both parties. So if the only thing that's going to hold him up is that he doesn't want an assignment fee, it's not the verbiage that I'm talking about. It's that I'm going to get invoiced a commission at title. So I bring a check to the closing table for whatever his commission is. What people forget and don't realize is commission's not a set price unless it's a listing. So a listing is where they sign a contract between the seller and the listing agent, determining what the total amount of commission is that's typically split down the middle. So if I'm going to go and get an off-market deal sent to me, whether it's from a wholesaler, from another agent, and I bring it to Randall, how do I structure that? Randall, look, I can't pay you 3% on this deal. It's a $300,000 house. 3% is $9,000 minus his brokerage fees and whatnot. He'll walk away with probably $7,500. But why would I want to go and pay $9,000 if my average assignment fee is $10,000? Do I want to make $1,000 and give him $9,000? No, the conversation is, hey, Randall, I know we talked about joint venture. I'm going to pay you a commission, not an assignment fee. Title's going to invoice me, and I'm just trying to figure out what's fair. In this case, do you think that we could do 1.5% as a commission, and I'll make sure that I got you on the next one? So now in this case, 3% or 1% of a $300,000 house, it's not $9,000, which what it would be if it was 3%. It's going to be $3,000. So if it's a $10,000 assignment, you make 7, he makes 3. That's not a bad payday. So that's how you structure stuff like this. That's our whole goal for you guys to understand. If you guys are looking for the site to where you could do this too, make sure to check out Batch. This is a free trial. You can go and get 7 days for free where you could see if this is what you want to do. We go through this inside my Discord. We go through this inside Agent Investors. But Batch is the software that we literally use to export agent information. I do these calls live every week with you guys. Well, we get it from Batch. Landree's not just here because she likes hanging out with us. She's here because she obviously works and represents Batch. And we love Batch. Agent Investors and Batch are a great relationship. So we want to make sure you guys are trying it out too. See if it is a good fit for you. But this is exactly what I'm using every single week to go out there and find this agent information.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. We appreciate you guys. I will see you guys next week. If you have any questions, if you're looking for free coaching, make sure to check out our Discord. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.